Hi, in today's short video we'll be doing a little bit more naming. So if we had this type of molecule, we'd want a way of talking about these carbon atoms without having to say the one on the right, the one on the left. And so we can talk about them based on how many other carbons are bound to these atoms. So we can have a primary carbon that is bound to only one other carbon atom. We can have secondary, which is bound to 2 carbon atoms. Tertiary is bound to 3 atoms. And quaternary is bound to 4 other carbon atoms. It's important to recognize that I will be using this type of nomenclature, and this one with a little degree sign, that's how we say primary. So that doesn't only work with carbon atoms. We can also talk about amines this way. So for example, if we have this amine that is bound to a single carbon atom, we can call this a primary amine. Similarly, you can have a secondary amine, which is bound to 2 carbon atoms, a tertiary amine, which is bound to 3 carbon atoms, and finally you can have this quaternary. We can't call it an amine anymore because it has a positive charge, this quaternary ammonium ion. Let's look at another type of nomenclature as well that will be useful, that we'll use in class. In this case, we're going to be looking at the different isomers of butanol. So to distinguish the different isomers of butanol, you could call this 1-butanol because the alcohol is bound to the one position carbon. But you can also use the term N-butanol, which stands for normal. Normal means a straight chain. If you put the alcohol on the second carbon, so now you could call this 2-butanol, or you could call it sec-butanol. This attachment here is referred to as a sec group. Another type of butanol is isobutanol, and the iso comes from the fact that these 2 methyl groups are on the same carbon. So this is actually very similar to what we've seen before as isopropanol, the iso functional group. Again, there's still 4 carbons. And the final one you'll probably see quite a bit is T, or tert. That means it's a tertiary carbon, so it's a carbon bound to 3 other carbon atoms, and is also bound to alcohol. So the T group, we can highlight it here. T stands for tert, and so if we talk about tert butanol, we're talking about that structure here. And the final little bit I want to talk about are some of the Greek alphabet and how we use it for nomenclature regarding carbons. So when you look at the Greek alphabet, you have the alpha carbon that is directly adjacent to what you're talking about. So this alcohol has a carbon alpha to it, beta to it, gamma to it, and delta to it. And we always use the lowercase Greek alphabet when we're talking about carbon atoms and how far away they extend away from a given functional group. Thank you for your time.